Well, hello everybody, David Clues here. I thought I would make this video again just about the judiciary in this country that, let's just be frank, is completely out of control. We constantly hear about the separation of powers between politics, the judiciary, the police, when we just look at it, they're all working together, they're all part of the same regime, and the rules simply do not apply. And I want to make this video specifically in relation to a certain judge in the Merseyside area, a Judge Menary. And Judge Menary came across this. You'll maybe seen the clip. I will play it shortly about the Joey Barton verdict. Hope at Christmas. His highness, I don't know what HHG means, His Highness, I don't know. Anyway, to the question, what does Christmas mean to me as a Christian? I give one answer, hope. And by hope, I mean an expectation that things can get better tomorrow, no matter how tough that they might seem. Now, I don't know if that hope applies to people that engage in politics, that Judge Andrew Menary doesn't seem to like. This was his political diatribe yesterday at the sentencing of Joey Barton.
I have no doubt that neither a fine alone nor a community order can be justified, and that the custody threshold is crossed. There will be concurrent terms of imprisonment for each of these associated offences, the sentences for each reflecting your overall offending and recognising the principle of totality. However, applying the imposition guideline and carrying out the required balancing exercise, I'm satisfied that it's not necessary for those custodial terms to be served immediately. In light of the steps you have taken, I am persuaded that there is some prospect of rehabilitation.
Rehabilitation from what? Sending edgy posts on X?
Immediate custodial sentence is not required to protect either the public or the victims, and that a suspended sentence order may itself operate as a deterrent against any future offending by you. For each of these offences, I impose a suspended sentence.
Judge Menary does have a past in this. He was, of course, one of the very prominent judges during the sentencing of those who engaged in disorder after the disgust at what happened over Southport. The judge told of unpleasant threats after riot sentencing. So again, you're trying to get a theme here about Judge Menary. He's a Christian. He's a good man. He faces these threats. Maybe, as we'll get on to slightly later, he isn't the saint, perhaps, that they like to portray themselves as. A judge who jailed some of those involved in violent disorder following the Southport stabbing says threats have been made against him and his family. The odd dodgy package has arrived at the court. He said the reaction had been overwhelmingly positive, but there had been some twits online who had posted all sorts of daft things about me. Judge Menary told emergency workers a decision had been made to accelerate sentence hearings for those involved, not because of political pressure, but because a quick response was needed for a deterrent effect. 50 people have been sentenced by Judge Menary. Judge Menary is not an independent judge. He's a political stooge of the Starmer regime. And if you want to hear why, this was one of his sentences. Just listen to the way he speaks here. This is not a judge speaking. This is a political activist speaking.
Dealing firstly with you, John O'Malley. You're 43 years of age now, and you were present from an early stage at the disturbance on St Luke's Road in Southport. There is very clear footage showing the developing disorder, and you were at the front of what was essentially a baying mob. You were part of a surge that broke through police lines, and you were standing next to the police vehicle that was being destroyed. You were present while missiles of every description were raining down on the officers.
So all I've heard so far was this individual was there. He didn't do any of the things that other people did. So if I witness someone being stabbed in the street, am I going to be held responsible for that as well? That's what this sounds like.
Including bricks, traffic cones, wheelie bins, road signs, tins of paint and the occasional firework. Dealing next with you, William Nelson Morgan. You are 69 years of age now, but your advancing years plainly did not prevent you from playing an active part at the disturbance on County Road. You were a part of a crowd of about 100 people who were running amok, setting fire to bins and damaging local property, including a community hub and library which contained a food bank and provided an important resource for the people living in that area. The sentences that I am about to impose have been reduced by 1/3 to reflect your pleas of guilty.
And just remember, though, a lot of the people that did plead guilty to these things, they were basically taken from their families. They were put in holding cells. There was mental torture took place against them to get these guilty pleas.
And you will both serve up to 1/2 of those sentences in custody before you are released on license. If you fail to abide by the conditions of your licenses, you can be returned to serve some or all of the remainder of those sentences. Will you both now stand up? In your case, John O'Malley, for the offence of violent disorder, the sentence is 32 months.
32 months, except he wasn't actually taking part in it. He was just present.
Imprisonment. In your case, William Nelson Morgan, for the offence of violent disorder, the sentence is also 32 months imprisonment.
Okay, so again, I think we've got a bit of a precedent set there. Judge Menary clearly is appalled by people taking part in events that he disagrees with. I mean, clearly, if people did cross the line, that's a different matter, but that individual didn't. So Judge Menary clearly is angry at people who do bad things as a Christian. Yet, can someone then tell me why Judge Menary would spare a paedophile who shared child abuse images online? Joshua Stoll was sentenced at Liverpool Crown Court. He was discovered to have set up vile groups which chatted about the sexual exploitation of children, exchanging images of the utmost depravity. His neurological divergence, however, and previous good character satisfied a judge enough to suspend his terms of imprisonment. "270 photos, videos classed as Category A, 640 photos to videos classed as Category C, amassed over a 6-year period of time." But despite this, Judge Andrew Menary said that you've completed a course with the Lucy Faithfull Foundation. You need to understand you have come very close to prison. Okay, so this paedophile didn't get put in prison. And here's another story as well. Paedophile avoids jail after preying on schoolboy. Paul Jones pretended to bond with a teenager, a vulnerable victim. He then proceeded to touch the boy in a sexual fashion. Judge Menary explained to the court that although other allegations had been made about Jones, he was only able to sentence the 62-year-old based on his guilty plea. He sentenced him to 2 years in prison, but he suspended it for 18 months, despite him being a sexual abuser. So again, just it's a bit odd, isn't it, that Judge Menary would punitively jail people who were present at some disorder, yet allow actual paedophiles to walk free. And then let's just take a bit of a further look into Judge Menary, because it appears that Judge Menary has had a very interesting sideline out with being a judge. Now, I mean, I don't know. Do you know many judges or people in positions of public influence who would be involved with, say, the Grosvenor Park Film LLP or the Invicta Film Partnership that he was appointed to on the 10th of January 2007 and then resigned just under 2 years ago. No, just over 2 years ago, sorry. Involved with a number of those film partnerships. So what sort of films would the judge have been involved with, and why? The Invicta film partnership, like Invicta 43, refers to a series of UK-based film financing schemes that offer tax relief to high net worth individuals investing in film rights. Many were challenged by HMRC as abusive tax avoidance, leading to major battles. High net worth individuals invested in an LLP. Investors would buy the rights to films and then lease them back to the production company. This structure allowed investors to claim large tax deductions, deferring or reducing tax liabilities. Courts determining if these businesses were genuine or just tax dodges, with mixed results for investors. Why would Judge Menary, a man who is supposed to hold the highest standards as a judge in judging people, be involved in blatant tax dodges? Why would he be involved with the Invicta film partnership? Why would he be involved with people like Howard Saul Jacobs, also involved in a number of film projects? Interesting who these producers are behind these films. The Grosvenor Park LLP, another tax scam that, from my investigation, links me to the Grosvenor Park Productions, British-American production and finance film owned by film financing mogul Don Starr, headquartered in Los Angeles, California, produced a number of different films. So again, that's just a bit odd, isn't it? And then if you look at Mr. Starr himself, he's involved in all these dodgy films. So what you're looking at is, we're looking here at a judge who likes to pass judgment on people. In instances, he's let off paedophiles without going to prison. Yet in other instances, he's clearly put these people in jail. So the question is, what exactly is going on here? And who is Judge Andrew Menary to judge? Surely that is the question. Do we have a free and fair judicial system? I think not. Thanks for watching. Please spread the message. You can't get a fair trial in this country. It's corrupt. Speak to you later. Bye-bye.